Clone Commander Obi Wan Kenobi. A legendary Jedi Master, Obi Wan Kenobi was a noble man and gifted in the ways of the Force. He trained Anakin Skywalker, served as a general in the Republic Army during the Clone Wars, and guided Luke Skywalker as a mentor. Hello there, and welcome to Centaurian's Corner, and today we are reviewing Clone Commander Obi Wan Kenobi. This character has been highly anticipated, and I've got him in my little mitts. I got him on Star Action Toys for about $18.95. Post and packaging was about £2.90. So I suppose in all I spent about an extra £1.80 from getting him off the shelf. So that's really good. And I think they do universal kind of post and packaging as well. And I think it's about £13. So if you want to get him and you want to get him now, it's time to get him. And I think this is going to be my third Obi Wan Kenobi. Obviously there's still young Kenobi to get, but I haven't got him yet. And he definitely will be a pickup. So, here he is. I was kind of a little bit disappointed when they did actually bring this guy out. I was kind of hoping that it was going to be the Kenobi from like the Clone Wars. You know, so he's got his robes on and he's got just this sort of like bib area up here of like his armour. Because, as far as I know, this Kenobi is Legends. He's not canon. Which is a little bit of a pull-off. Not to say he doesn't look cool, but you know, he sort of fits with the Jaina Solo sort of part and all that. So yeah, I was a little bit sort of disappointed when it was this Kenobi, because as you know, I'm a big fan of the Clone Wars from 2008, and this one's from the 2003 series. So yeah. Anyway, so here he is. He's got his picture there, looking very fine. And we've got his window with him looking absolutely pucker right there. Turn around, we've got Obi-Wan written on in black and his name on the side. He hasn't got a number because I believe he's a Walgreens exclusive. And on the back is his picture again and his bio. So guys, without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. So, here he is in his blister pack. And he's actually got one of these stands. I haven't had one of these before, and I understand it comes with a jump trooper. So, I'll be happy to get one of these stands and just test it out and just see what kind of sort of poses it's capable of having, because I have a hard time lately with some of the Black Series figures where they're just falling over willy-nilly. And also, just a note in his blister pack as well, he's actually got an extra bit here on the back just to hold in his cape. So what we're going to do, we're going to just get him out, kind of first impressions. I'll take him away, we'll take some photos which I'll show at the end of the video, and then I'll come back with a good review. So after I've had a good play, I know what his limitations are. So take the stand out as it's covering his leg. I'll just pop him out. And here he is, looking mighty fine dandy. Not too sure what his body is, it just seems a little bit different kind of plastic. Feels quite hollow compared to like the Rexes and other ones. So guys, I'm going to go away now. I'm going to take some pictures. I'm going to test out this head as well. Maybe it might fit on some other bodies. So I'll go away, take some pictures, and I'll see you in a mo. Okay, so welcome back. So we've been away, taken some photos, gone over and pushed him into those sort of like poses that really sort of push this character to the max. And yeah, he's not without his little nitpickles, unfortunately. So we'll go through his accessories, we'll go through his posability, and we'll go through his sculpt. One of those three is definitely a win, but the others not so much, unfortunately. Right, so we'll start with his lightsaber, which is his only accessory anyway. Well, apart from the stand, but we'll show that off as well. So again, it's just a regular Obi Wan Kenobi hilt, and to be honest, it feels quite thin. It just doesn't feel. I think it's the same one as the Episode 3 Obi Wan Kenobi. It just seems very thin, and because he can't really do a two-handed stance, well, he can, but again, he's really putting some sort of like pull on the lightsaber, and it does bend, unfortunately, very easily, being very thin. But looking at the paint applications, it's all there. We've got like the hilt part, we've got the golds and all that in the right places as well, which is nice. The blade is removable, which is quite a nice simple pop as well. It just pops out the blade just very nicely, and as you can see, it's got a peg there as well. And at first I didn't think he had a hole, but he has. It's just behind this ammo pouch here. You can just plug it in, and there you go. So it just fits in just nice on there. So that's his, like, obviously his main accessory. But just going through like the other Obi Wan Kenobi. Now this is the one from the San Diego Comic Con, like old Ben Kenobi lightsaber. Obviously, unfortunately, it hasn't got a sort of like the little tag there to put it into his belt, but it's so much robust. It just fits in his hand a lot nicer. And actually, that's one of the nitpickles that I have with this figure, is that he can hold it, but literally because it's just clone hands, he just doesn't get a really good grip on it. So you have to really sort of get it in there and wedge that kind of button. So then you're going to get some paint rub on your lightsaber. But so that's about the best kind of sort of position you're going to have the lightsaber. And the same goes for the other hand as well. It just falls through his hand just a little bit too easily. But then that's his lightsaber. The other accessory he comes with is the stand. Now I was quite excited to get one of these, so I could actually do a lot more different poses and whatnot. Unfortunately, he doesn't really benefit from it because his posability is not all that great. But with this, you just fall over top heavy, and because they've got ankle pivots, you know, like they can rock around. So when you put him into like a place, you want to put him out into a stance, like maybe running or something like that. He just doesn't sit in there nicely. He just wants to fall over, and as soon as you start tilting it a bit too much, it just becomes too top heavy. So again, it's kind of like playing with the stand and the angles, but then you won't going to get the angle that you originally wanted. You're sort of trying to get the best you can out of the little stand. So to be honest, it's not all that great. And I haven't got any yet, but I reckon there's third party stands out there that probably do this 10 times better. So going over that, we'll go over his posability as well. And he's not too bad. If you expect what you're going to get from a like a clone trooper body, then you're pretty much there. Unfortunately, it's not like a Captain Rex body. It's more like a wolf kind of body. But that's why his head just feels a little bit off as well on this character. So we can turn his head left, right, and obviously you can look down and look up quite a lot. So with his shoulders, unfortunately, you can't really get much up there because normally it would slide over the top. But because he's got this kind of sort of like fabric as well, it kind of gets caught and you can't go up any further. So he's got a swivel just about below his sort of like shoulder belt there. He's got a double jointed elbow, but again, it's not the distance that you would get with a Captain Rex. We've got a swivel at the wrist, and then we've got a hinge inwards. We've got an ab crunch as well, but because of all obviously the armour and stuff on there, it does hinder him a little bit, and his back as well. Leg wise, upper thigh armour gets in the way, so that's as far as he can go forward, and then back this far, and he's got a double jointed knee, which has got quite a good range on it compared to it's actually the clone armour. And then he's got a rocker, and he's got a pivot on his foot. So yeah, articulation wise, you're not going to get him into sort of like super dynamic poses, unfortunately. You get him in kind of sort of like those sort of like, let's get ready to run kind of sort of pose, or just standing there giving commands and stuff like that. It's very hard to get him in a sort of like a traditional Obi Wan kind of pose, because he's like lightsaber's too skinny in his hand. That kind of falls out. He can't lift his arms up above his head. So yeah, he just always looks a little bit clumsy, unfortunately, when you're trying to pose him around. But the beauty of this character is in the sculpt and the way that the figure is portrayed. That it comes to life. So obviously we start with his head, and yeah, I mean the sculpts for this is like a Millie Ewan McGregor, you know, just the beard and the different sculpts of the hair as well, just where it flops over just to one side, you know, it's more 3D. It just looks good, you know. It's definitely one of those games where they're just up in their par, isn't it? You know, it looks 10 times better. So again, we're going down to the clone armour. Unfortunately, I've got a bit of paint here that's a bit missing. Just a little bit speckled where the paint looks like it's bled out from the armour a little bit. So we'll have to touch that up. So we've got this cloth good cape as well. And unfortunately, I do find the cape looks a little bit cheap. You know, compared to like some of the robes that we have from the other Jedi. It does look a little bit thin, and you got this sort of like really heavy kind of sort of like looking cheap material as well, all down there. But it doesn't take away from the look of the character. It just, to me, maybe it looks a little bit too glossy and a little bit too clean. But it goes through here. It's got a nice kind of sort of like detailing on the cape where it twists around and goes through these kind of sort of like, reminds me of a bit of like the gladiators from you know, the old Roman times, where they go through and they would have like a kind of like a lion badge or something like that on there. And then we go down, we've got the traditional kind of sort of clone armour with all the sort of gubbies and extra bits like that, which we've all seen before. And going down to his knee pads and there, but it's all done in a very nice kind of glossy look across there. And obviously the detail, it's exactly the same body all the way up there, and just underneath his cape the robe carries on. But you can feel like there's the armor plate. It's all there. It's, you know, it is a clone body, which is there. So that's his sculpt. So yeah, you know, I absolutely love this guy, and I'm glad that I got him in my collection. You know, he fits with the clones. He fits with everything really well. But yeah, it's just a shame that his articulation and everything like that is just a little bit not quite there. You know, I'm not saying that it's a big put off, don't get him, but just don't expect to get him in some really nice poses. So anyway, another thing I wanted to look at as well, which is a big question that was really going through my head when this character came out, was the fact that his head sculpt was so good. And what used to put me off with the Black series was always the head sculpts. So I've got a spare episode 3 body here. So what I'm going to do is just change over his head just to see if it fits on there. I did have a little play earlier, and to be honest, it doesn't look too bad. It kind of brings the body down to a size there where it just looks a little bit off. Obviously the skin colour looks there, and it's just sitting on his head, you know, it's just sitting there. But if you wanted to take some photos with Anakin and whatnot, you know, it does work. The size proportion looks fairly alright. I always think like Obi Wan in the cartoons and stuff always looks like he's got a bigger head than he should have. So yeah, that works. And also I thought I'd try with old Ben Kenobi as well, because obviously there's people out there that like to customise and whatnot. So would you like to do a Obi Wan Kenobi after Revenge of the Sith? So we can pop this off and pop his head off. And again, it just fits loosely on there. But yeah, it kind of works, I think. Just looking over at Luke Skywalker, for another 20 odd years before he turns into this guy. Right, so as an action figure, is he definitely worth a pickup? I'd say he is. I mean, look at him. He looks cool. He looks awesome. He's got a clone body. We can't never moan about how articulated the clones are. It's just armour. So we're not going to get a superposable Obi-Wan, but we definitely get a super cool looking Obi Wan Kenobi. And at the moment, he retails at £20, and it's definitely the time to pick him up because this guy's going to sell like hotcakes. And you can get him at Star Action Toys. I mean, that's the place I can see him at the moment. Apparently, he's in Forbidden Planet, as walking into the stores to purchase him for £20. So now's the time to get him. If you're a collector, then it's definitely a must-have. An action figure, he just looks cool and badass. So it's definitely worth getting him. So that brings me to the end of the review of General Obi Wan Kenobi. Are you going to pick him up? Let me know down below. You can follow me on Instagram, and I'll catch you later. Bye.